One and all, welcome back to the channel. A channel where we witness this man obsessed with the camel lovers time and time again. Wham, 0-1, the Canadian cannot do any wrong with the Abbasids. He's always picking it here and always winning, it seems, on Frisian marshes. But Voldemar might have something to say about that. A strong pick in its own right, HRE going into the Boglands. Yeah, two very powerful picks. Abbasids usually about the trade. HRE just usually about the fast castle timing into either Burgrave rushes or Regnitz absorption. Looking at the spawn, looks like the shoreline fish is relatively far away. The tree lines have shoved it a little bit further from base than normal. We do have double gold vein spawns. No rush opportunity here for Voldemar, though. And I don't think he wants to. Not against Abba. It could have been worth it. Like, Rax Dark Age would have maybe forced a military wing commitment by Wham. Instead, though, he's going to be a greedy boy. We have got Eco Wing on the way. We're going to use the 2x speed for the early game. Just because I'm sensing, and call me crazy, I'm sensing double fast castle. We might see Voldemar stop off for Pro Scouts. Then again, he has got 28 sheep versus 15. He might not even need it. Yeah, there's not really many sheep left. Voldemar just hitting the jackpot. Stun already been gathered. So, where's where I'm looking for the TC? Usually, if it's going to be a fast castle build, it'll be tight. If he places it on the gold, you're almost guaranteeing FC. If he does something crazy like out in the berries or out in the deer and the fish, then you're looking at him trying to be aggressive in the feudal. Or at least blob an army first. Voldemar, he's going to be opening the racks. So, not interested in just a raw castle rush. They're going to contain. In fact, this looks like an all-in build. Yeah, ultimately trying to punish the 2TC approach. Makes sense. He knows he won the sheep game, or it's reasonable to assess that he won the sheep game. Wham only has 15 to work with. The berries are running out fast as well. Now, with fresh foodstuffs, he will be very efficient with his 2TC play, but theoretically, he should always run out of resources first. So Voldemar just looking to manipulate that to contain his opponent and run him dry. One tricky part, though, is with a very defensive spawn like this, could you potentially see camel archers to count as men-at-arms. I'm wondering if that's what Voldemar wants, right? Because he's got 1 men-at-arms. However, the archers did get revealed by the scout, so won't be able to hide that info. First MA is going to be able to start poking in. Interesting that he doesn't commit onto the berries. Yeah, I think he was expecting a move away there by Wham. Because he could just, I think, if I'm not mistaken, you could just stand right here and stand ground. Maybe he's a little bit freaked out that he might get pincered, or pinched rather, like just surrounded fully by the villagers and killed. The archer's now here, so that'll be Wham pulling back from this food source. Go back to the 2x speed. Voldy, this is a bait and switch. He's going castle. Okay, do you go Burgrave though? It feels like Regnitz is way too good to not. Burgrave is very much like you need to commit hard, fast, or lose. Regnitz is you scaling. I think Voldemar is going to dip into the greed, seeing the 2TC. Camel Archer is now a response from Wham. We talked about how tricky this is when your opponent has got men-at-arms, but I mean, in fairness, it's Archer MAA, and not many archers. So won't feel too threatened by the archer threat into the camels. Camels, remember, are a solid answer against MAA with a high base. Burgrave on the other side, so Voldemar is going for this. Okay, so this could be actually quite good for Voldy. If he goes Zerg men-at-arms, like, you can't scale camel archers quick enough at this point as Abba with 2TC. He has to add in farms, right? So, like, these archery ranges take way too long. 35 seconds per camel archer versus, what, 4 seconds per men-at-arms? It's kind of a comical comparison. Here you go. Sorry, 5 seconds. Feels like 4.5. MAA upgrade coming in. Men-at-arms spam begins. Voldemar is a little bit lacking on the gold. Undermesh priority is coming through here. Wham's really going to just try to get the camel archers together here. And Voldy, he needs to be fast. You'd think Spearman, but the problem with Spearman here is although you do counter cavalry, you also take double damage from the camel archers. So it's a mutual countering. Just the difference is your opponent is ranged. Outposts are coming up. Wham, even got the stones. Smart lad here. Arrow slits is going to help a lot. If you can get the towers up. Decent amount of farms already, man. There's 5 camels already. Voldemar, what was the problem here? It's the Archon, right? It's not... Wait. Okay, yeah, his food is here. But he pulled the Prelate. Yeah, no. You greedy mother duck. He pulled the Prelate to get the relic. It slowed down his timing entirely. I don't know if that was worth it. This is all about tempo. If you're not quick enough, you just die. And you know your opponent's going to be scaling camel archers. It's the only logical answer for an Abbasid player. So to go like that for a single relic. Yeah, sure, he's going to be getting 80 passive gold, but what did he miss out on? A 40% buff to 12 villages. That's like having an extra 5 villages gathering. That ends up being like, what, an extra 2.5 minute arms per minute? It's a growing risk. He's now missed his timing here. Wow. Up to 8 camel archers, soon to be double digits. At this stage, Voldemar has to go back for the veterancy on archers. But at this stage, you start to look at the Burgrave and wonder, was it actually worth it? I don't think it'd be unfair to say it hasn't really paid off. I mean, you can argue Wham's been forced to commit to the age, but the only reason that would be worthwhile is if Voldemar can now go into horsemen. But if you look at Voldemar's economy, he's got 12 sheep. No farms. That's not horseman economy. What could have probably been pretty sick for Voldemar is if he'd gone for pro scouts. Because then you could have bait and switched from Burgrave into horseman. And then Wham just gets flooded and killed. But then, like, obviously the trade-off is if you go pro scouts, you're heavily delaying your timing. Wham has got gold gathering behind this here. Has got the blacksmith tech coming through. He's even gathering on the fish now. Dude, that is sick. That sneak out is so important, actually. He's down to 3 sheep. Camel Archer is now starting to intercept reinforcements. Voldemar isn't even looking. This is like crazy because at this point, Voldemar is really engaged in this push. So he's not going to go looking for pocket economy. Wham is up to 13 camel archers. Oh my god. It's surging quicker. 4th archer range coming in now. Dives underneath the double TC. Wham may end up losing a few villages for this. The camel archers can never really truly be touched. More villages now shuffling out onto the shoreline fish. And the other group of camels is coming out. Now, keep in mind, from this position, if Voldemar loses this army, it will be a rapid rowing across the map. Horseman just trying to buy a little bit of time so camel archers can stand their ground. I mean, it's death by 1,000 arrows, right? It's not that high of damage when you consider the 6 ranged armor versus the 12 damage, but it's adding up against a unit he can't actually touch. He now has more camels than Voldemar has men at arms. This is ridiculous. I mean, camel archers did get nerfed. And they fell off, right? Part of that due to the pro scouts meta's arrival. But Voldemar has a problem now, man. Even if he wanted to build more men at arms, he can't. He can't afford it. And after all that effort of pulling relics back, wait, what are we doing here? He's playing some budgeted Japanese build. He didn't garrison the outpost. He's not even getting the gold trickle. And that's not a Regnant, so you can't place it inside. So, okay, we've finally got a relic coming in to go inside an outpost. But what are these two doing? Oh, God. At this stage, just build a monastery, right? He did at least build a second prelate, but it was out the TC, so he lost a villager there as well. Military wing down the way from Wham, and there's that pro scouts we theory crafted earlier for Voldemar. At this stage, it's just so late in the game. If he goes south, the game could be recoverable, because Wham's food income is coming from those ponds. He's got about, what, 25 villages out here? Yeah, 24, and then obviously the gold over here. Voldy is now moving across. At this stage, he can't really split up his army. He'd get swept aside by the camels from Wham. Villagers are getting sniped, but reinforcements now getting intercepted. Wham is in a situation where you prefer not to fight. If you can just wait until the castle age, it's so much better here. And because Voldemar is trying to dive your base again, you're not really in a rush. Things could be about to change, though. The Prelate came all the way... I can't believe this game. This is ridiculous. No Regnates, yet Relics was the prior. Villagers are going to have to run away. Wheelbarrow is on the way for Wham. Last game, he got it at the miracle timing when he was about to start losing economy. That could be about to happen again. He has already lost quite a lot of villagers, but still hasn't stopped him from maintaining a 20 villager lead. And look at this, the Camel Archers. You could fight an army of men-at-arms, guys. Or you could drag that army away from your base and then dive where the enemy isn't defending. Oh, this is going to be vicious. Has got sprint replacements on the way. Camel Archers should go looking for kills now. Ram instead actually bides his time here. Moves away. Veterancy on the way in 40 seconds. Definitely not exactly what I was expecting from Wham there. Guess he doesn't want to lose the military mass and allow like a resurg into his base. So plays it safe. Knights now on the way. Veterancy should definitely make them a lot more competitive. Camel versus men at arms as well. I wonder what Voldemar would have changed about this build in hindsight. Was he just too idle, or was the problem really the lack of pro scouts? I think it's not as much idle was the problem. Sort of. The problem was scaling, and the scaling issue came from that Prelate. If I had to like dissect one detail that would have changed his outlook on his build, it's the Prelate pull. That Prelate leaving the Archon, I mean, he was without buff, I want to say like, was it 2 minutes? I'm not sure exactly when he built the Prelate again, but like when we checked in, there was no golden buff at all. And he had, what, 12 villagers on food? I think he had like another 8 or so on wood. So you're missing out on essentially an extra like 8 villagers in your economy at that stage. Voldy, oh my god, dude, I still don't think he's noticed. We have him building more outposts instead of just building a monastery. He really, really, really doesn't want to spend that 200 wood. He'd rather spend 200 wood on outposts. You can kind of see where it's coming from. It's defenses. A monastery just sits there. But wait. Do we have one? Okay, no, we have one back here. There we go. Okay, he did set one up in the end. I'm just looking so dominant with this type of army. Crossbows plus the knights. This may be a little bit slow on the attack. Or a bit too soon, rather. Choose to commit anyway. I mean, half of Voldemar's army is archers. The other half do not directly counter lancers. He doesn't even have the heavy maces. So nothing to fear. Only a wave to ride all the way to victory. I mean, this should be him. Back broken, right? Sprint emplacements can do decent damage, but against this much cavalry, I don't think it buys you enough time. Voldemar looks dead. Even if this army failed, remember, Wham's still gathering at home. He's got a sizable economy lead. And you don't even have Regnates to carry on through here. Pulls the camels away again, sends the lancers in. It's just a scaling lead for him, right? Like, he's just... The whole point of this dive was to keep Wham and keep Voldemar in check, right? Now you know Voldemar's definitely not going Imperial. Not anytime soon, anyway. You just need to keep skirting the gold, starve him out that way, and then you reach 100 plus eco before you can even think about Imperial. Even the farm transition now from Wham. Had those initial ones, but didn't heavily commit. Now he's fixing that. Even has the potential for agriculture. Military boot camp is going to be coming through, so crossbow's going to feel unkillable. And now it's time for Wham's Rams. So Voldemar wants to hold this. Delay the game a little bit more. Actually, Spearman is like his best friend. Yes, no. The Camel Archers counter you, but like it stops the rest of the army at least. And camels don't really want to dive this static emplacement. So like a mixture of spears and outposts could be Voldemar's best bet here. Instead, he's going siege. Wait. He's not thinking mass springles, is he? Mangoes would be peculiar. It's not the worst of idea because your opponent has crossbows and camel archers. But you definitely need to make sure you've got ample spears here. Kind of just playing a budgeted Nesta Beast China build, basically. Which fits for a guy who's infamous for playing China. Two sacred sites now locked in. Wham. I think you're just going to see him going 200 pop. He doesn't need to rush Imperial here. There's one player in this game that might have Imperial on the list of strategies to get out of this. That's not the Abbasids. Crowd's now moving in. Voldemar has done a good job of blobbing spears, but remember, the Camel Archers counter that. Mango's coming into play here. It's a hard bloody hold, though. The pop difference has slightly shrunk, but it's just... I think Voldemar, if I'm not mistaken, is he almost out of gold? Okay, he's got 2.6k, so decent amount to work with. More farms are coming in, and does have that secondary tree line, so isn't going to burn out of all resources too quickly. But this is kind of sick. We've actually got composite bows. Wham's going to transition. It's smart. Look at Voldemar's entire comp. Bar the few men-at-arms he's adding in, everything here gets countered by archers. It's a sick read by Wham, and one that Voldemar shouldn't be able to see coming. Voldemar. Wait, do we still have Dark Age Spearman, rather? We do. We don't have any veterancy here. We have 28 Spearmen. Feudal Age. That's definitely one way of playing mass spear. Coach coming down the way. Wham is going to Imperial. If Voldemar wants to make a move now, he doesn't know it. He has to be suspecting it, though. Like, why would Wham, who's been ahead, back off like this? And there's the veterancy. So Spearmen are upgraded. But he's walking head first into Mass Springle. No! Uh-oh. And they're lined up perfectly for it. He can hit the Archer Mass in the heart if he wants to. Goes off the Spearman instead. Cav is going to rotate around. It can't come around the backside here. Voldemar, the Spearman count is shrinking fast. Only 13 left alive. And great wraparound. Wham! Smashes him in the back here. The Springles serve their purpose to get the wipe. 40 seconds out from Imperial Age, and Wham is also going to be an army up. At this stage, Voldemar, that was his Hail Mary, his punt from hell. That sends him one circle deeper. Means that Wham will be heading on through to the quarterfinals, where you have a date up against the South American player Starflark.